poll to start out with today. How many people here believe the words of the music that we just sang, and believe the Apostles' Creed that we just said? Just raise your hand if you believe that. It's almost unanimous. We don't have to do this part, Roy. We can stop right now and everybody's unanimous if they believe all that. So nobody has any doubts. We'll do that again. How many people here believe all the music, the words to all the music today, and believe that Apostles' Creed with all your heart, with all your mind, and everything that you have in you? That's probably a lot closer. This week, in this Doubters Anonymous series is about a guy who sort of believed. And I think that probably describes most of us. At one time or another, we kind of sort of believe. We have maybe, some of us might have 99.999% belief, some of us maybe only have 50% belief, some of us, just don't know where we are in our lives. But I'm going to start by reading part of that story. But I want to give you a little bit of a heads up. Go back into Mark. My Bible has all kinds of information on little headlines on top of some of the paragraphs of some of the stories. So here's some of starting in Mark 1. Jesus heals many people. Jesus heals a sick man. Jesus heals a paralyzed man. Jesus heals a man's hand. Jesus heals a man with demons inside him and drives the demons out. He gives new life to a dead girl and he heals a sick woman. And then we get into chapter 9, well actually chapter 7. He helps a non-Jewish woman, a woman at the well. He heals a deaf man. He feeds 4,000 people. Then he feeds 5,000 people through the miracle of God. And most of us know these stories. And then in chapter 9, starting on verse 14, Jesus, Peter, James, and John were coming back to meet with the other followers. And they saw a great crowd around the other followers that were there. And the teachers of the law were arguing with Jesus' followers. But as soon as the crowd saw Jesus, the people were surprised, and they all ran to welcome him, because here he was to help them out. And Jesus said, "What are you all arguing about?" And a man answered, "Teacher, I brought my son to you. He has an evil spirit in him that stops him from talking. When the spirit attacks him, it throws him on the ground. Then my son foams at the mouth, he grinds his teeth, and he becomes very stiff. I asked your followers to force the evil spirit out, but they couldn't do it." And Jesus answered, "You people have no faith. How long must I stay with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So the followers brought him to Jesus, and as soon as the evil spirit saw Jesus, it made the boy lose control of himself, and he fell down and he rolled on the ground, foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has this been happening?" The father answered, "Since he was very young. The spirit often throws him into a fire or into water to kill him. If you can do anything for him, please have pity on us and help us." And now the answer that's important to us. Jesus asked the father answered, since he was very young. Jesus said to the father, "You said, if you can. All things are possible for the one who believes." And this is our answer generally, that Father's answer, and our answer also. I do believe. Please help me in my unbelief. Here was a man who had heard of all the story. You don't really know whether he's one of the followers or whether he's just another man that's there. But he's heard all these stories about all these miracles that Jesus has done. So he has first-hand knowledge of those. Maybe even a little bit better situation than we have today. He has first-hand knowledge of all of all these miracles that Jesus has done with healing people. And he still has to ask if you can. And Jesus says it's not an answer, not a question of if I can. It's a fact that I can. You've seen that, I said that, you need to believe. And the man says, I do believe. Help me in my unbelief. There's a whole lot of reasons why we have these doubts. One of the difficult things about doing this particular talk for me is just, I probably could talk about 5 hours and then probably spur this off into about 15 other 5-hour talks. So we're just going to try to touch some surface here on maybe, I'll give you a little idea of some of the reasons and maybe some helpful things on how we can overcome our doubt.